What is up, everybody, and welcome to Tuesdays with Turbo. It has been a couple Tuesdays since we've done this, so I'm really excited to kind of get this out. To be perfectly honest, I put this show together probably 2 weeks ago, and just been busy. Just been busy. It's just been that the Labor Day weekend has kind of come and gone, so now everything can be a little bit more relaxed. Fingers crossed. But yeah, let's get to today's video. We're going to be talking about auto insurance myths, auto insurance misconceptions, what's covered, what isn't. I'm going to give you some examples of things that we've dealt with here in the office, as well as I'm sure many other agencies have done with these and have had to have these same conversations with their clients. So I figured, what the heck? We might as well make a video about it and see if you guys and gals have any questions or concerns or anything for me. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Turbo Jackson. I am your insurance resource. And I do videos like this to help educate folks on what they're buying for insurance-wise. Yeah, well, like I said, we've kind of been doing a lot on the commercial side, a lot on the home side. So I figured let's bring it back to the auto, because everyone who has a car needs to have auto insurance. And in the past, we've talked about liability, we've talked about deductibles, we've talked about endorsements. So we're going to kind of bring that all, I'm not going to say to a head, because there's plenty of other videos when it comes to auto insurance. So this is going to be one of those where I'm going to give you a situation and then tell you why auto insurance would not be applied in these situations. So like I said, if you have any questions while we're going through this, please feel free to drop a comment, whether you're watching this live or if you're watching it on a replay. And please, by all means, give this video a share, because pretty much all of us have a car. And maybe out of these 10 things, there might be something on here you're like, I didn't really know that. But before we get started, I did want to take a little bit of time here and talk about an insurance term that we all use, and it's kind of become, I guess, the regular or the norm to use this verbiage, but full coverage. In auto insurance, there is no such thing as full coverage, because the word or the term full coverage means everything is covered. Full means everything. And as we're going to see in some of these examples, not everything is covered. There's the liability portion, there's the medical portion, there's comp, there's collision. If you decide to take them, there's property damage, and then some of the other add-ons. So the term full coverage is non-existent when it comes to auto insurance. So I know we kind of throw that term around kind of loosey-goosey, but when we're actually coming down to brass tacks, there is no such thing as full coverage. So with that, I just wanted to premise that before we get started in here, just to kind of, maybe we can start a revolution, and the term full coverage just kind of gets thrown by the wayside. So let's get to number one. And like I said, these are misconceptions for auto insurance. So let's get to number one. Personal belongings stolen from your car. Auto insurance covers the car, not the stuff in your car. So your $1,200 MacBook that was stolen from the car is not covered on your auto policy. Now, where would it be covered? Well, if you do have a home policy or a renter's policy, that would cover your belongings no matter where they are. It doesn't have to be just at your home. Whether anytime they're with you or even in a storage unit or something like that, there would be coverage for personal property. So your auto insurance does not cover personal property. So kind of keep that in mind. Let's go to the number two, regular wear and tear. Insurance is for something that's sudden and unexpected, not routine maintenance. Bald tires and brakes, not covered on your auto insurance. And to kind of piggyback off that, number three, mechanical breakdowns. Auto insurance is not a warranty. Your dead battery or your engine dies because it's 15 years old, it's not covered. It's not covered. And number four, and if I am going too fast, let me know. And like I said, for those of you watching live, let me know if you have questions. Let me know if you have questions. And these are not company dependent. These are pretty much across all insurance companies. So kind of keep that in mind as well. Number 4, using your car for business. Now this one can be kind of tricky because some companies will allow some business use on a personal auto policy. But more to the fact if you're using it for DoorDash, Uber, things of that nature, where there is a specific endorsement for whether it's rideshare or deliveries. Example here, most auto policies exclude commercial use, which is true unless it's endorsed correctly. If you're hauling food or people for money, you need a rideshare or commercial policy. Or like I said, most companies nowadays in 2025 will just let us endorse that policy. So definitely not a commercial only exposure. But yeah, just if it's used for business, we need to make sure it's rated accordingly. And if you're using it strictly for business, then we need to look at a business auto policy. So number 5, custom upgrades and aftermarket parts. This is kind of big in the Jeep community. You know, there's a lot of people that put aftermarket parts on their Jeeps, or like we saw, you know, kind of growing up, the cow catchers on the front of pickups and whatnot. Are those covered? This is company dependent because some companies do include like $1,500 for customized parts, but they will allow additional coverage if you purchase it. And you know, growing up, we all had you know, the removable CD players and amps and speakers. On a base policy, that would not be covered. Now, I mentioned Jeeps, and now some companies, if there's a lift over 4 inches, those customized parts would not be covered. And so kind of keep that in mind. And you know, rims, any sort of upgrades that is an aftermarket upgrade from stock. Talk to your agent to see if the company that they have you with offers additional coverage, and if so, you might have to provide receipts for such things. So it's not that it's not covered, it just has to be either endorsed or written properly. So keep that in mind. Number 6, this is something that we deal with quite a lot, and it's something you might not even think about, which is driving someone else's car regularly. You might be saying to yourself, well, Ryan, you told me that if a driver has permissive use, they can use my vehicle and still have coverage. That is true. But the word that I want to emphasize there is regularly. Regularly. And the biggest thing we come across is youthful drivers. And if the youthful driver lives in the household, is driving the vehicles, is licensed, they need to be on the auto policy. Now, with technology these days, it makes it easier for us. Usually the insurance company lets us know, hey, there's a licensed driver in the household that is not listed on the policy. So we reach out to our clients, be like, hey, does so-and-so live in the household? Yes, they do. Okay, well, we need to rate them on the policy because they have their license, they live in the household, and most likely are using the vehicles on the policy. So, and the reason they do that is because of the PIP, because of the medical coverage. We want to make sure that that driver, if they are living in the household and are licensed, if something were to happen, does have medical coverage. So you might be thinking, well, you know, my agent's just picking on me. You know, Jane doesn't even drive the cars hardly at all. Why does she need to be on the policy? It's because of the medical, hands down, hands down. Number 7, rental car reimbursement. Now this is a big one because this is an endorsement. This is an additional coverage with most companies. Some companies do have a little bit, maybe $20 a day, $25 a day rental reimbursement built into the base policy, as long as it has comprehensive and collision on it. Now, most companies that I've dealt with, you have to have comprehensive and collision in order to carry rental reimbursement. So vehicles that just have liability only, some companies will let us put roadside on it. But very, very rarely, and I don't believe I've seen any, not saying they don't exist, but I haven't seen any, a company that will let us put rental reimbursement on just a liability only vehicle. So if this is something that you want to add to your policy, call your agent, make sure, or just double check the limit if you do have it. Some of the older policies we see here in the office, clients have $30 a day. I don't think $30 a day would adequately reimburse you for a rental car these days. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. Number 8, damage from street racing and criminal activity. You might well think, well, Ryan, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. But it made the list because it must happen all the time. Any illegal activity voids coverage, regardless if it's an auto policy, a home policy, does not matter. You crash racing your buddy, you're not only dumb, you're not insured. So for those of you that do engage in any of that, just know that there would not be any coverage if there is an accident. And like the example said, you're not insured. That goes for both the vehicle and you and any property that you damage. So that one little race might result in life-changing money, because medical bills aren't cheap, repairing vehicles aren't cheap, and also repairing other people's property is not cheap. So just something we should not do at all. And if you're using any vehicle for racing purposes, whether it's illegal street racing or even on a track, no coverage. And that goes for other toys and other vehicles as well. So no racing. I know, no fun, police, I know, but no racing. Number 9, intentional damage. All right, what do you mean by intentional damage? Insurance covers accidents, not intentional acts. If your ex keys your car, you'll need to file a police report and maybe claim it under comprehensive, but it's iffy depending on the situation. Now, most of the time, with this example, I could honestly see there being coverage if you do carry comprehensive on that vehicle, but anytime anything is intentional, there is no coverage. So just kind of keep that in mind. And number 10 kind of goes with the one we talked about prior, unlisted drivers in the household. And to reiterate the medical, this is the main reason. Now, there are a lot of people that I've dealt with in the past that are like, well, so-and-so does live in the household, but they don't drive my vehicles. They don't drive my vehicles. Well, even if the thought and what's the word I'm trying to use? The thought and the opportunity are there, whether you know about it or not. So this is just helping put to bed any gray area or any what ifs. So yes, it can be an expense that you don't want to pay out, but it's a fraction of what could be the potential out of pocket if something does happen and that household member is not listed on your auto policy. Getting back to the street racing thing, the same thing could happen to that unlisted driver just driving normal day to day. It doesn't have to be street racing, just normal day to day. So you're looking at the cost to repair a vehicle, the cost to repair your unlisted driver, and the cost to repair any property damage that may occur. So $20 or $30 extra a month as compared to hundreds of thousands of dollars kind of seems like a no-brainer to me. Well, that is my 10 misconceptions, or 10 things that people might not think that are covered that actually aren't on an auto policy. So again, if you guys and gals have any questions or want to get a hold of me, Here's my office number, my email. If you want to send me a Facebook message to kind of keep it, on the DL, as the kids say, or just comment on this video. I will do my best to get you an answer, and if I don't have one, we'll find one. We will get you that right, the right answer. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been another edition of Tuesdays with Turbo. The weather is looking fantastic this week, so let's get out and enjoy it, and I will see you next time.